What's up, everybody? Before we get into the video with you guys today, we want you guys to tune in April 19th and 20th as we will be live hanging out with our boys, Fab Reactions and our honorary use Alec, as we watch WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 41 live stream. You got to be tuned in to do so. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Also, follow us on our socials to see clips and videos that we'll post leading up to the big show. But now, let's get into the video.
What is up, C2 Wrestling fans? Your boys are back. Friday Night SmackDown review about to go underway. But first, I want you guys all to go into that C2 Wrestling channel, subscribe, put those, oh God, can't speak, put those notifications on because we are going live for WrestleMania 41. We've had a couple of live shows already and they've been fantastic. It's been a full blown blast. So you're going to want to be there. So you got to make sure you have the notifications on. It will be us, the Fab Reactions reunion with our boy, the honorary use Alec. I can't speak. I almost butchered reunion there too, but I recovered. It's all good. For tonight, we got Friday Night SmackDown. Big news in a new champion. It was the main event, but how do we not start with a new champion? LA Knight recaptures the United States Championship. Pretty solid fashion. I don't think people were too fond of the Shinsuke run, but I thought that Shinsuke's original win was great. Yeah, maybe it was a little bland of a couple month run, but LA Knight wins it back. Hot potato that title. Why not?
I was stunned when they said earlier that Nakamura's been the champ since November.
Yeah, November is a while. November
I
is a while.
was,
I did just say a couple weeks, but it has been a few months. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, boy, did
Yeah.
they fucking butcher that.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
tell you what, though, that run was years better than the Intercontinental title run he had a few years back. That's one of
yeah,
the
you're
worst
not
title
wrong.
runs in wrestling history, in all
Yeah.
honesty. Sorry, Shinsuke. But drops the title back to LA Knight. I wasn't sure if he was going to. I did kind of lean towards LA winning the title tonight. Either that or it was going to end in some DQ, somebody interferes. Maybe the US title gets a multi-man mania match, but maybe not. IC title looks to be shaping up for that. So LA Knight recaptures. Who's the big old heel to go against him at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the question. I feel like we were all pretty confident that Knight was going to win the title back.
Mm,
And I'd be pretty surprised if LA doesn't have a Mania match.
yeah.
Who? That's the million-dollar question because, I mean, in his first title run, he faced Andrade and he faced Carmelo, which would be like the two front guys, and he faced Santos. So, like, those are your three people that would probably be, front of the line. I don't want to, I don't want a fantasy book, but do we get like an Alistair that returns and faces him at Mania for the title?
I think it's tough to kind of get that forced in before Mania. I would never really hate the Alistair return. There's no way I would say no to that. But I don't know. I'm in the same boat though, where like Carmelo or Andrade would be the choices really, but they've already ran that route, so maybe they don't go that way again. I don't know though. They're not going to run back LA Shinsuke. Maybe they do, but it's just on SmackDown again prior. I don't know. That's a tough one. Damian Priest is involved in other things. He's also a face. I don't think they would run that. It's a tough one. Putting the title back on LA Knight, I'm sure they have a plan, but I don't see it. So it's tough to know what's coming. I just hope we're getting something good for LA at WrestleMania. As you said, he's got to have a match. I mean, he's over as could be.
Yeah, and we have 6 weeks and a day until Mania.
Mm.
6 weeks
Wow.
until the SmackDown before Mania, which will be a big SmackDown as well, the go home SmackDown. But I don't expect LA to have a match there. I do expect LA to get another Mania match because he is one of the main guys, as we can see now with this second United States title win. I just don't know who, Miz is another example. Like, all right, name kind of makes sense, but you're not going to do that. It's also not a Mania match.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like slim pickings. They're really lining up Priest and Drew. That clearly seems to be the go for Mania. You'd assume Solo versus Fatu, but they're kind of in the mix with Strowman, however that plays out. But I mean, 6 weeks is a long time.
Long time. That's more than what would be in between generally a regular PLE and another PLE. Usually
Yeah.
it's a 4 to 5 week period. So they have plenty of time to book something out and make it credible enough. LA is great. He's not, the Cody Rhodes or maybe the guy that needs like a 6 month build. Not that Cody Rhodes is even getting that this year, but LA Knight can get a guy that's going to have a month build, month and a half build. And I mean, LA Knight probably goes over, in my opinion, anyways, probably retains. We've already predicted a lot of Mania title changes maybe being underway. LA just regains the belt. What heel do you put it on if you're going to put it on one? I don't know. I think LA would retain it. I do like to see these guys. We've talked about this before, guys and girls. I like to see more multi-time title runs. I think it's been underdone. It's also been overdone in the past. Charlotte is a 97-time champion, and maybe it shouldn't have gone that way. But also, it's nice to see at the end of LA Knight's career, 2, 3, 4, 5 times U.S. champion. I think that goes a long way. So I'm glad he regained it. If I had to choose, I'd go Carmelo at WrestleMania, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And I mean, I'm more interested now. I look, I like Shinsuke, but that how they booked that title run
Yeah,
was atrocious. And LA Knight's on every week, so at least the title will be on every week again. So that's, I guess, the positive to it. But SmackDown had some big moments. I don't think we have to go in order, just hitting the big moments. The Cody promo.
incredible.
So good.
Incredible. That closing line, fantastic. The guy
So
is
good.
he's the guy for a reason. People typically understand that, but there's a few people out there that don't. And that promo is why. If you don't understand it, watch that promo and then watch it again for me. Cody Rhodes is the guy.
I'm not going to like flip flop opinions each
Mm-hmm.
week on like just based off segments, but I did have a strong feeling watching that where I was like, Cody's gonna win.
I don't think so. I really,
I
I'm
don't
still.
think so, but that promo, like, it was more of like a how can he not win?
See, the way I look at it though, too, is that promo is like John Cena's the heel of all heels right now. He's climbing a heel ladder, and Cody's about to end it. If Cena wins, that's going to drop Cody, but it's going to blow him up with the fans. It's all about that chase again for Cody. I think if you have him lose to John Cena, and then Cody Rhodes has the whole, I got to get my title back, got to stop John Cena. Again, we said this already a week or two ago. I think this is all to give Cody that big win again. Whether it happens in 6 months, a year, Cody regaining that championship is going to be a big moment again.
I just have this weird feeling that he's not gonna lose. And maybe he loses right after and then it goes into a chase. I don't know. It's my gut feeling. Maybe it dates back to my feelings before the Cena heel turn, where
Mm-hmm.
I felt Cena wasn't going to win at Mania. And I think it kind of does tie back a bit to that time period where I had the mindset, this is John Cena's last WrestleMania. I don't think he'll win because at the end of the day, he knows it's better to set up the future. Now, we're in a different world. John Cena's heel. He can
Mm-hmm.
win, still setting up the future in the future. But something just keeps taking me back to like, I just feel this like the Cody overcoming all odds, like just does happen at Mania. And it wouldn't be another title change. We said not every title is going to change hands.
Yeah, not every title is going to change hands. I don't know, man. It's just tough. I feel like if Cody were to win, then what with John Cena? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the next
He's John
step
Cena. You do
is.
what I mean. He'd probably still go after Cody again.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't know if it holds that same power the second time around. I don't know. Something about it to me, like you pulled the trigger and did the John Cena heel turn. You got to fucking run with that thing and you got to put that title on him. And, there's been so many comparisons to the Hogan heel turn and all that stuff. And, they put that title on Hogan. I don't know the timeline and how quickly they did it. Cena only turned 6 weeks prior, 7 weeks prior to WrestleMania. But it adds another layer to the stories that can be told, in my opinion. Cody Rhodes retains, even if he faces Cena again and then loses. I don't know. I feel like it would be a little dragged out at that point. And well, I don't know. Like I do like the idea that these big things can happen at any pay per view. John Cena just turned heel at Elimination Chamber. Like
Yeah.
that's on paper not a great pay per view. It's not a top 4, top 5, but he did. So can I say John Cena wouldn't win his 17th at Backlash? No, I mean it's possible, but I don't know if it's the the pay-per-view to do it.
That's a good point too. It's not just any title win for Cena. It's the 17th
Hmm.
title win. There are a few other, solid moments on SmackDown that I want to hit before we get out of here.
Yep.
I love Chelsea Green's faction. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
I love it. I love everything about the United States champion and her Secret Service or Secret Hervis
yeah.
all not being from America. I think it's gold.
It's
I love
great. It
everything
is
about
great.
it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though. Was this her first time facing Mishin? That was their first
This
match, right?
this was the preview for them facing.
Okay.
They're gonna
Okay.
face
So they're gonna
together.
be face again. Okay. Just making
Yeah,
sure. I
yeah,
never saw them in the ring together, let alone
yeah,
in a match. So I just
yeah.
had to ask.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
in the same night we get Lyra versus Dakota Kai again. That's my hope.
Again, that's happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. On a dark match, you had to pay to watch it.
You got to pay to watch it. You got to pay for the Patreon, the
Yeah,
WWE
yeah,
Patreon.
yeah.
Now, we get Alba Fire coming out in the rumored Blair Davenport role before she was cut. Interesting to see. I think Alba Fire is great. I don't think her name is great, but I think she's pretty good for the women. She's a long time NXT UK champion. And there's credit to that. I know that title's maybe not up there in the rankings, but, she was kind of the woman down there for a while. And then found herself in a tag team in this super messy women's tag division for a while. They won titles. They didn't get some crazy push, but she has her title reign under her belt. Put her with Piper, put her with Chelsea, who was also in a great attire tonight. The Cactus Jack
Yeah.
rip was great to see. I think it's a great faction for the women in a field of very talented women, but not any stellar women factions going on. We don't have some great trio out there right now, quad group of women, do we? That I can't remember off the top of my head. In NXT, there's a couple, sure, but there's differences in the main roster to NXT still. They're not around as much. You have Chelsea Green with this US title. Maybe she loses it at some point. The whole stable is kind of based around her being US champion, but I think this stable can help propel Chelsea after the US title to the next accolade in a potential women's championship.
Yeah, and you mentioned the not having as many stables. You obviously have Bianca and Naomi with their segment tonight. Like they're split, that team
And that was a
stable,
team
whatever.
still. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's done. Pure Fusion Collective
Rip.
done. I don't even know. Was there any Damage Control is still technically a faction, but injuries.
Yeah.
They've
And they're
been
doing their own thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're still together, but not every week is a tag match with them. This is a fun faction,
Yeah.
and I'm very interested with how many European shows they have
Mm-hmm.
going into Mania. Next week they're in Barcelona, as Aldis properly pronounced it, Barcelona. Uh, I'm very interested how they do this because I think they could do some really funny stuff about like Chelsea Green being disrespected in these other countries because she's the United States champion and they
Yep.
obviously don't give a fuck about the United States.
Yeah.
So I think this is like the perfect time to add someone to the stable. SmackDown's fucking 3 hours, so you got plenty of time to do these
Plenty of time.
segments.
Yeah, plenty
You
of
got
time.
plenty of time to do these segments. So I'm all in on this stable.
Yeah, you look back at them introducing both these women's mid card titles, and nothing against Lyra. Could there have been a different IC title winner? Perhaps. I haven't really seen much go down with that women's IC title that has kept me all that interested yet. But there was no other choice but Chelsea for this US title, especially with the hindsight that we have now. She's been absolutely running with it, and you're completely correct. Now having a bunch of overseas shows, these next 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks for her, can be huge. This can really help propel her again. If you had, like, obviously we already have women's matches booked for WrestleMania, but if there's one more woman that you got to find on that card, if I had to rule out every other women's match for one more, it's got to be a women's title match for the US title. It's got to be Chelsea versus somebody. I don't know who they build up, but she's up there right now in getting over with all the fans. I'm not seeing any dislike towards what Chelsea's doing, and rightfully so.
I hate to say this because, as I just mentioned, how much I like Chelsea in this faction. Right now, given the stories around SmackDown, Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega screams main eventing the SmackDown right before Mania.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like
Just
main event, but it's not the
mm,
last segment, it's the last match.
yeah, I can see her maybe not getting on the Mania card just because she doesn't have like the feud. Even if they did find her an opponent, like I don't know how well they could build up Zelina and Chelsea in a few weeks comparative to some other things. It looks like you have a diabolical idea on your hands by the
We need one person to save America in the United States Championship.
Okay, who's that?
You know you got to have my girl Nikki Bella come save
Oh
the
my
day.
god. Oh my god.
Give me Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella at WrestleMania. Book it.
Chelsea's great, but I'll be watching the paint drying versus grass growing match instead of that one, to be honest with you.
I'll be the SpongeBob meme with the foam finger and the popcorn.
Yeah.
That'll be me. That's my
I
main
mean,
event. Move
I
over
mean,
Cena,
I
move over Cody.
can't rule out Nikki, to be honest. My fear would be that Chelsea's been great and they would put the title on Nikki, honestly, if Nikki is like trying to fully return, which I think Chelsea deserves to run this out till I think SummerSlam. I think Chelsea's been doing so well with it that you give her the opportunity to run with it and give her that feud maybe going into SummerSlam where when she finally loses it, you can really put somebody over.
Well, the interesting thing with SummerSlam is it's in New Jersey and you're pretty close to where the Statue of Liberty is. So you can do some
Yeah.
fun stuff with Chelsea there and her what could be her final title defense if it does go down
Mm-hmm.
there. A few other things on SmackDown before we hop out. I don't want to spend too much time on the Bianca Naomi segment because I saw a lot of love for it online. I'll be honest, it just wasn't for me. It just
Yeah,
did
it
not hit for me.
it did not hit for me. Nothing against them. I am not a fan of the crying, the fake crying. That does not add to the segment for me. That only takes away. It just does. I don't know. Was not a fan of it. I thought it was a little too overdone. I think Bianca is one of the best women in the company, but I feel like in this segment, it was the same thing at the chamber, like her reaction to it all. I felt like it was a little too much. I don't know. Didn't really hit for me.
Yeah, I know we're in the minority here, but that's the beauty of wrestling. You know, you can have your own
Mm-hmm.
opinion. To me, it was very to be movie acting esque, and
Yeah,
like
soap
Bianca,
opera-ish. Yeah.
like they're great. Like this is not,
Mm-hmm.
we sing their praises all the time. This just was one of those where I was watching it and I'm like, I know people are loving this, but it is just not hitting for me.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the last thing I'll kind of say about it to move on. But I do think, in hindsight now, knowing that they did go the route of Naomi being the one to attack Jade, they could have gone about, and I love the Jade return and attack on Naomi at the chamber. That can stay. That was great. But they could have gone about the reveal in a much better way, in my opinion.
Security footage.
Yeah.
Should have shown the security
I'm
footage.
I to be I will also say, sorry, one more thing. I'm not ruling out Bianca still being a part of it yet. I'm not done on that theory. I still think that security footage might roll one day and you're going to see Naomi talking to somebody, but they're blocked by a truck. And then the next angle is going to come out and it's beyond, I don't know. Can't rule
I'm
it out.
not ruling out Bianca working both nights.
Yeah, I can't rule that out either. Yeah, they did it with the men last year. I'm not crazy on them doing that a lot.
Agreed.
Anybody running two nights has got to be rare. If you're going to do it last year and you're going to do it this year with Bianca, you can't do it for a while. So how badly do you need Bianca to wrestle two nights this year? I don't know if they really need it.
Agreed. Uh, Orton comes back. His return to SmackDown cuts a promo on Owens. Great promo, looking like Orton Owens. Not much to add to that other
Mhm.
than sweet, love it.
Yeah.
Orton faces Carmella next week. Great
I
match.
will just say, glad he talked about Cena. I feel like a guy like
Yes.
Orton, he's got to talk about Cena in that moment. I'm glad he didn't just come out and just go right to Owens. He's got to talk about it. Has to mention
Yeah, with also hilarious lines
it.
about
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Rock
super
bottom.
great.
Yeah.
We'll wrap things up here talking about my boys on my shirt. The SmackDown Tag Division, Pretty Deadly, pick up the win. So great. Pretty
So great.
Deadly. It's almost frustrating because we've been fans of Pretty Deadly since before the call up.
Mhm.
It's almost frustrating that it's like they had their moments even when they were running the injury angle and the wheelchair, like, and they were getting some
Yeah.
TV time there. It's like you can see these guys are great. Like you can see it. They just
Hmm.
give them TV time. The positives of SmackDown going back to, or not going to 3 hours is you can actually give them that TV time, and the crowd was rocking with them. Like I
I was
know they're
rocking with them.
heels, but the crowd was behind them. It was a fun match. The SmackDown Tag Division love what all this did, piecing them all together. I think we're building towards that SmackDown multi-team, match maybe at Mania.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very curious as to what type of match it will be because it's an awkward amount of teams and five teams. You could do just straight 5-man tag match, but then you got guys all over the apron. Maybe there is a ladder match, maybe the IC titles ladder match, but regardless, multi-man tag title match at WrestleMania, and we've been calling it for centuries. I'm sure that's going to be going down.
Yeah, super excited about that. Love that. Next week, pretty solid SmackDown. Title
Absolutely.
matches,
Orton
promos.
Carmelo.
Yeah, Orton Carmelo, Miz TV with Cody. I believe Cena will be the following week, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is
Yep, 17th. Yep.
expected, but at the same time, that report was said that Cody wasn't going to be back until that time,
Till
and
then, yeah.
Cody was on to tonight.
Yeah.
But we will be back on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Snowden gonna hold it down, which is an insane Monday Night Raw. Maybe we see the return of Roman Reigns. Then we got the podcast. We are full blown on the road to WrestleMania. A big NXT this week. I can't just hop over that.
Big
Huge
NXT this
NXT
week.
this week that
Big
we got to
NXT
put some
this week.
stuff out for.
Yeah, there will definitely be some content coming for NXT as well. Content coming for Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania. Something special coming soon. So you want to stay tuned, turn those notifications on, subscribe, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the above. We are C2 Wrestling, baby.